Welcome back. Global Builder's Guide Episode 2, I'm Enigmius, and this is a turtle building a tower really fast. What a surprise. This is the third GPS tower in our network. Now, there have been a number of little hiccups along the way that we've been discussing and kind of talking about as things that we need to fix, things that have a solution but may or may not be easy, and one of those was correcting the way the turtle handled blocks that have to be placed in a certain direction. Now, one of the things with the ladders, as you can see here, is if there's nothing around the block that we're placing the ladder on, it's very easy to make sure that the ladder goes on the proper block. But if we don't kind of change the way the turtle thinks about things, then we end up with ladders kind of placed on blocks adjacent to it or behind or whatever, and it's not really ideal. So I've been working on some routines that will allow the turtle to identify, okay, these are some high priority blocks that need to be placed in a certain direction, and it's easier to do that without too many blocks around them. So I will build those first, and then I will go back and worry about the lower priority blocks. And as you can see, the ladder is going on much more consistently, but not without problems of its own, because the turtle, you can see, is perched on top of a nearly completed tower, but he's basically said, I'm done. He's not doing any more. The reason for this is because I had to put a relay computer between the central computer and the turtle, because the wireless modems weren't connecting. They were too far away, and as a result, the relay system didn't work quite as I might have liked it to. So then this became a test for the fourth tower. And you can see already the turtle is just making a mess of the ladders. It's got some sort of weird spiral ladder thing going on. As I was recording the time-lapse, I was actually messing around with the code to see if I could correct that. I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I haven't given up. We're very close. It's just not calculating properly the direction that it's facing, so it winds up placing things in odd locations. You can see here he's doing a much better job already, but this won't last. Like, let's get real. The main thing here is that the turtle is recognizing that there's blocks that it needs to give priority to. So that's kind of a good beginning in terms of getting a system in place that will allow us to build things the way that they're supposed to be built, as opposed to the turtle interpreting one thing and building something else because it's kind of relying on Minecraft mechanics to help it out. And the Minecraft mechanics are saying, no, I don't care who you are or what you're trying to do. This is the way I do things. So if you leave it up to me, it's going to get done wrong. You can see, again, the placement has gone all wonky. So there's some changes that I made. The turtle is actually, for once, moving faster than the cameraman. And we're making progress. That's sort of the key here, is we're not necessarily looking to be finished tomorrow. We're just looking to be making a little bit of progress each time we take a look at this guy. And the key here, in addition to questionable ladder placement, is the turtle did actually finish building the tower all the way to the very top, including the little crow's nest portion, despite using a relay computer, because I added a few routines to the whole relay system to try and see if we can't start weeding out the problems that we had with the first tower. And the best way to see those is to go into the world real time. And here we are live and in person with all kinds of towers. We're surrounded by towers, which is good. That was the goal. We've got the 3 GPS towers that'll be tracking the horizontal information, and then this will, when it's complete, eventually be the one that handles the vertical sort of contribution to figuring out exactly where everything is. We've got our relay computer set up on a refined tower of dirt, just because that's what I felt like building to get the relay computer into position. We needed it for the turtle to be able to communicate with the central computer all the way down there. Obviously, we've still got a few things that we need to work out. For example, the ladders on the central column of this tower. I've actually been playing around with the code while I was recording the time-lapse, and I may have already solved the issue, so we'll find out for the next episode whether I did or not. And we also need to work out this communication system now that we've added the relay computers into the mix. It was good enough at this point in time to get this tower built. Now, one of the things that I noticed building this tower over here that I showed you is there's that magical height where the turtle can all of a sudden communicate to the central computer because it's high enough, right? The range is based on the altitude. So the turtle doesn't need the relay computer anymore, but the relay computer doesn't know that. So basically the central computer is receiving the same order twice. And then when the central computer sends the reply, the relay computer is sending it to the turtle as well. So the turtle is receiving it twice. And that's why we basically wound up in a situation where the turtle didn't get the last chunk of coordinates that it needed because the central computer had already sent those coordinates as requested by the relay computer. So if that's confusing to you, don't worry. The whole idea behind this is the finished system will take all that confusion out of the mix if it's done properly. It will handle all of that without you even knowing necessarily what's going on, but it's one of the things that I have to work out. I started working on it, just seeing if I could come up with a reasonable system to detect whether or not it's receiving a duplicate request, and in this case you can see about every fifth line here it's saying possible duplicate detected, and it's actually trying to assign a block that doesn't exist because it's received all these duplicate requests and it doesn't really know what to do with itself, so it's just saying I got nothing, I got nothing, no unassigned blocks available, possible duplicate, nothing's happening. It looks like a mess. I'm not even 100% sure if it's going to work in every situation. I have to look at that. But what we do know is that structurally, according to the logic that the turtle has, it finished the tower. It received all of the proper segments of coordinates in the proper sequence in order to finish the tower. So I obviously have to work out the ladder situation. I think I may have already done that. Not a big deal. So then we've got over here this relay computer, and it's a very, very short, very, very simple script that's running it for the time being, and it's basically printing out every time it receives a message. It shows you what channel sent the message and where that message is supposed to go. So 0 is the central computer, 2 is the construction turtle, so it's saying here that it relayed a message from channel 0 to channel 2, so from the central computer to the turtle, and then the turtle sent back a message. This is probably the message saying, I've completed the block that you sent me so you can update your records. And then it sends another message saying, I need another block to build. And you can see then the computer sends back a block for it to build, and then the computer builds it and sends back all this stuff. So it goes all the way down to the bottom, and then you can see it starts to double up. Instead of 2 messages from the turtle and 1 message from the computer, it's 2 messages from the turtle and 2 messages from the computer, and that's because the turtle got to that special altitude where it could suddenly communicate with the central computer without the help of the relay. So I'll be working on that. I'll be working on finishing that last step in the logic for the towers. And then I still want to get a little bit of an inventory management system, specifically a resupply system for the turtle, just to have the beginnings of it in place. Realistically, I think it's not a bad thing to suggest to people that if they want to start with this and they start building the GPS towers, that they can sort of supply the turtles on their own. They don't necessarily need a really robust system so that they can just set up chests and plunk in materials and the turtle will come pick it up, because we're not using a lot of materials or a wide selection of materials. But I think just having the basics in place before we move on would be a pretty darn good idea. And also, the last thing I think I want to do before we move on is get this displaying something that's useful, so that if something isn't working, if a turtle needs attention, if there's something going wrong, it'll show up on this display. And at the very least, people can kind of be awed and amused for a little while anyways when they get the whole thing working, they get their turtles working and the central computer is working and it's displaying all these things that are going on. It's part of the fun, I think. So that'll be the short-term goals. And also, I need to build something now that we might want to start working on the survey routines for. So it's easy enough for me to enter coordinates into a text file in a table format that's easily imported into the game by the central computer and divvied up into segmented chunks for the turtles to build. But I want to get something built in the world that we can get a turtle working on and basically going around and figuring out where it's going to put all of these different blocks in order to duplicate this structure, so that we don't have to rely on manual coordinate entry. So I'll probably be messing around with that a little bit as well. I'll clear out some trees somewhere, maybe over there, something, and start building on that. Just, a little bit of a break from the world of coding. So as always, leave your comments and feedback below. For the next episode, I'm guaranteeing there will be Pastebin uploads of all of the more or less finished version 0.1.0.001.0 scripts for you guys who are interested to take a look at. And of course, if you want to import it into your own worlds and start messing around with it, that's totally fine too. So, comments and feedback, very, very important. Leave them below. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.